So here's the hypothetical. To a woman who's lost, alone, or stranded in the woods, would you rather run into a man you don't know or a bear? This is a viral thought experiment that supposedly started on TikTok with street interviews.
Would you rather be stuck in a forest with a man or a bear?
Bear. Men are scary.
With a bear.
What I've heard about bears, they don't always attack you, right? Unless you, fuck with them. So maybe a bear.
Depends what man, but probably a bear.
Oh, 100% a bear, which is, terrifying to say, but...
Definitely a bear. Some men are very scary out there.
A bear.
I would say a man.
But Call Me BK claims to have started it not as a would you rather question, but as a definitive statement.
The bear or man in the woods thing was never actually a would you rather question. I know because I'm the one who started it, and I figured I'd use this tag to clarify some things. On March 12th, I ended a video by saying, if you're alone in the woods, seeing a man is 10 times scarier than seeing a bear. Someone commented on that video saying, no, seeing a bear is so much scarier than seeing a man, bro. I responded to that comment laying out why women are more scared of men than the bear, and that response went viral on the 19th. This topic started trending and growing for a few weeks, and then it really blew up with the street interviews. I never presented it as a would you rather question because I already knew that women were picking the bear and men were picking the man. My whole page is trying to get people who look like me to empathize with and understand the life experiences of people who don't look like us. So my intention here was to get men to think about why the world looks so different for women that they would actually choose the bear. And my challenge to any man watching who picks the man in this scenario is, can you get yourself to a place where you would rather pick the bear? Can you get to that level of understanding? Because if you can bring yourself to understand why they choose the bear, congratulations. You've experienced 1% of 1% of 1% of what they experience every day of their lives, and you experienced it for 2.5 minutes.
Well, since Bree and I are both girls, I figured maybe we'd put it on it. So, Bree, what would you pick?
My answer. It's unfair to ask me which I would do because, well, my natural form is a dragon. I'm not afraid of the bear or the man. But I will tell you that if I'm afraid of either one of them, it's the man, because now you can put into a situation of, do I know him? He's the one that can hurt me between a bear and a man. But that said, not every woman can turn into a big gold dragon. And if I were a regular woman, I would most definitely choose the bear, because at least I know there are certain ways different bears are going to act. I know for a grizzly, my best bet is to just put my hands up high overhead to look big, but back away slowly and not do a lot of motion. I know that if it's, as I was told recently, if it's a solar bear or a sun bear or something like that, I'm pretty much done. Polar bear too, they're just too violent. I am food. So yes, with those specific bears, I might choose the man just because I know maybe I can deal with it if he's normal, if he's not crazy, if he's not going to try to do something bad. But most guys don't understand. When they ask a woman this, or when they hear what a woman says, they immediately think, oh, well, she's going to try to fight the man or the bear. Well, she's stupid. She's going to lose against the bear. No shit, Sherlock. She would lose against the bear. This is part of the reason why she wants the bear, because you immediately think we're going to fight the bear when we're more concerned about what else is going to happen from the guy. Okay? So try to think about that one real quick. Pretend you're skinnier. Pretend you're shorter. Pretend you're big and strong, but you're scared and it freezes you. Men seriously need to stop trying to evaluate what they would do and try to compare that to what a woman would do, because you have no idea what you would do if you were a woman, because you would not feel as safe. You would not feel as in control from 1 minute to the next. And you have no idea how to fathom that, to be able to put yourself into her shoes. So how about you just slow down, listen to her, and work from there instead of assuming you know everything.
I know I'd pick bear, but maybe that depends on the type of bear. So what about black bears? Black bears are the most common type of bear found in North America, and so they'd be the type of bear that Bree or I would most likely meet. Taking in these stats from 2023, according to Bear Vault, since 1784 there have been 66 fatal human and bear conflicts by wild black bears. Less than a dozen non-fatal conflicts happen each year, and the vast majority of encounters end with zero bodily contact. What does that all mean? Well, brown bears are more likely to run away from humans than try to engage your average hiker. Despite being the most common species of bear, it's still extremely rare to encounter one, and most even avid outdoorsy people won't run into a bear, well, ever. But what about the other side? Well, going by North American statistics again, every 68 seconds, another American is sexually assaulted. 1 out of every 6 American women has been the victim of an attempted or completed SA in her lifetime. 14.8% completed, 2.8% attempted. About 3% of American men, or 1 in 33, have experienced an attempted or completed essay in their lifetime. From 2009 to 2013, Child Protective Services agencies substantiated or found strong evidence to indicate that 63,000 children a year are victims of this form of abuse. A majority of child victims are 12 to 17. Of victims under the age of 18, 34% of victims of assault and SA are under the age of 12, and 66% of victims of SA are aged 12 to 17. But then almost more than half of those reported assaults, 55%, happen in or around the victim's home. It's someone that they know, someone close. So, are these fair statistics to use?
I don't really think it's about the statistics like that, Agni. I think it's something that's way less substantial. Think about how we've seen guys getting straight up angry that women are choosing the bear over them. It reminds me of the "not all men" cries you hear whenever women speak up against signs of the patriarchy doing what it's done for, well, centuries. How about we look at it like this? Women can look at a bear and quickly assess that the bear is probably a threat, even if it's more likely to run away. With guys, you're never sure. A well-meaning and friendly-looking guy could always turn out to be a monster. Jeffrey Dahmer, Ted Bundy, these were men that were unassuming, mild-mannered, or even attractive. It led women into a false sense of security. It's not that men can't fall to the same thing. It's that it happens less often. And when it does, it doesn't end in things like death as often. It's kind of telling that when a guy gets angry about a hypothetical situation like this, because it feels like they're not reflecting on the deeper implications that could be.
Okay, so it's more of a nuanced question than just statistics. Maybe it's darker. Would it be better to be mauled by a bear or attacked by a man? I guess if I was attacked by a bear, my friends would believe me, or his family wouldn't protect him, or I can be sure that the bear isn't friends with the police, the medical staff. There's no risk of being forced to carry a cub.
Oh, gods! Stop. No, I don't think it has to do with that either, necessarily. It's definitely a direction that some people might go, but this is, after all, just a thought experiment. You could replace the hypothetical with any non-sentient predatory animal. Would you rather meet a wolf? Would you rather be swimming with a shark?
So probably the best way for us to look at this is, why do women feel their chances are better with dangerous wild animals than with men of their own species? I think that answer is going to be different for everyone. I think the statistics still have some play here. But if I'm honest, it's more like all of it is important. The bear versus man hypothetical should be a real chance to come to discussions about why that's important and what we as people can do so that women don't feel uncomfortable about meeting strange men.
Exactly. Yeah. That's why men in our time don't get such a bad rap. I'm a naturally shy person when it comes to flirting or even just being around guys that aren't part of my family or my inner group. Just coming across a random man in the forest would make me uncomfortable. And that's such a starting point. I don't know too many guys that are highly uncomfortable around women to that extent, to where if they came across one while they're lost in the woods, that they would immediately go to fear.
Well, how did we solve that in our time? Here's something. Men have started another hypothetical with, would men rather talk about their feelings to a woman or a tree? Well, I can't help but realize there's definitely something retaliatory about this. I think it's also a fair point to bring up. Guys don't feel comfortable sharing their feelings and emotion with women, and that's a real problem. Patriarchy doesn't just mean something in opposition to feminism. Patriarchy is about continuing a cycle of abusive patterns that try to teach men this is how they should behave. I mean, think about the conversation that Shane and Madeline have about strength. Shane feels like he's supposed to be strong and proud even when there are things going on in his life that hurt him emotionally. Even with as positive as a guy as Matthias is, it's still a patriarchal stance to take on something like that. Guys, a lot of them, don't understand the habits that they just keep repeating from their fathers, but it's through being friends, actual friends with women, that I think we'll start to see things change. And I think something that could solve two problems at once with that is simply this, and it's a sneaky little point that I'll end on. Men, make friends with especially trans women. Not only will that help raise transgender acceptance in society, but you'll get a unique perspective on both the masculine experience and the feminine one, because trans women are 4 times more likely to be attacked than cis women. Put that on a back burner for now. Let it stew. And I'll see you guys in the next project. Art for this channel wouldn't even be possible, however, without the help of our patrons. Monetization on YouTube is not enough to keep us going, so please follow the Patreon link down in the description to help Tales of Atonement keep going long term. We have a lot left to do and a big story to tell, and we simply can't do it without your help. Besides, there's a ton of extras only available on Patreon that won't be available for months on YouTube, if ever. Some of our great patrons include Pammy Poo, Shadow Fox, Arya Gamari, Charles Tam, Jace Moreland, and Lunder Lumen. Thank you all for watching and supporting our story.